the Valieva story. Kamila, she's still not even 18. She's only 17. She was 50 at the time that she got caught doping. Her main excuse, which she used, was that she was staying with her grandfather. She was using his cup that he used to take medicine. And so fair enough. I mean, I'll have a glass that I might put, say, Solpadeine or maybe aspirin or Disprin, like, you know, to take away pain. And someone could use it after me, and there might be some slight traces. But what she was caught using does help performances and does help competitive figure skaters. Now, of course, we see here on the left her coach, who we had a pop at, that personally I had some difficulty with in terms of her behavior, but she is now coming out and saying that, like, God love her, she doesn't think it's fair. And of course, all across Moscow, in a number of billboards, they had, "We're with you, we stand with you, we believe you." But again, this is just the latest in a number of ridiculous, pathetic, disgraceful excuses, like Sarah Errani, the tennis player from Italy, saying that she got this very good performance-enhancing drug that made her a better tennis player into her system because pasta was made on a tabletop or a top of a surface top in her kitchen, where her mother had been mixing her cancer drugs, her mother's cancer drugs, obviously. So again, we've seen this with Shelby Houlihan again with her Mexican burrito, and, you know, boys with their cocaine kisses, and Martina Hingis. Like, it's insane. But first of all, this is a child. She was 15 years of age. At the time, we said that they should immediately go after her guardian and her coach and her coaching staff. She should never have been on the ice. If she was that sick that she needed something to go on the ice with, she should have been off the ice. She should have been gone. 4 years, Iseult. Is it fair? And you think, is there a way around it?
It's very, very difficult, because I think if we are treating an adult, or treating a child, because she was a child at the time of this occurring, if we are deciding to treat them as an adult in terms of professional athleticism, they have to be responsible in terms of knowing the risks. Yes, I appreciate when you hear her excuses. I suppose my difficulty with the excuses here are the coincidental fact that what was in her system would have been a performance enhancer in her given sport, and that it just so happened that her grandfather was taking a medication which would coincide with this. That's a difficulty. But do I think that a young person came up with this excuse on her own? No, not for a second. If it was concocted, it certainly wasn't by her. And I think the bigger issue here is, we have to factor in that 4 years, at 4 years, it will not ruin her career. Let's be realistic about it. If we watched even the games this year, World Athletic Championships, we would have seen athletes returning after 4-year bans who are considerably older. It will impact her career negatively in terms of she will have 4 years off the ice and off competitive events, but it probably won't end it for her. The bigger issue here is, again, the coaches, those around her, because either she was not well enough aware to realize the risks in cross-contamination, or else someone concocted the story for her, in which case they should not be involved in the sport much quicker than her, because if she had something in her system, she very unlikely got it for herself and coincidentally knew it was a performance enhancer in her sport. We're not talking about an adult here. We are still talking about a child in terms of the ability to source out these things and to then, after the fact, concoct a reason. I do think there are two other factors here that come into play. We do need to remember that for all the times we hear absolutely ludicrous excuses and we think, oh my God, what the hell? There will be, for every 20 bizarre excuses that are completely illogical, completely unbelievable, there may be in that 20 that one genuine case where something has happened that seems insane, but it just has actually happened, and that's how something has come to be in someone's system. But the other factor here is the Russian factor. And this is not to hark back to Rusada or any of the doping. It's the fact that at the moment, with Russian athletes encountering sanctions around the world, it is the perfect time to pitch billboards in support of someone, the perfect time to run campaigns saying this is a conspiracy against us, because it ties into a notion of everyone is against Russia, as opposed to what is really happening here, which is a 4-year ban for something being in someone's substance being in someone's system. But I think that ban is disproportionate, not in terms of the sanction on the athlete, but disproportionate in the sense that they're not going, what are the other factors here? if there is someone who is getting a child to do this, or else assisting in coming up with this reason, those people are the people we need to keep out of our sports, and we need to be as tough on them as we are on the athletes. And I think that's sometimes where sanctions fall down. Yes, there is a huge amount of scope within the various punishments for people not being able to associate with certain people, keeping certain people out of sports. But when you're dealing with a child, there is a responsibility with any ban that you take the highest steps to look at. If you're banning someone who was a child at the time, who was facilitating that. If you believe she doped and you don't believe her reason for the contamination, then your responsibility as a governing body or as the sanctioning body in terms of with an anti-doping violation, your responsibility is to protect any other children from having the same encounter.
And look, this is we've had on from not just from America, but I just say America, Jennifer Say, and we've also, we've had people on with us discussing USA gymnastics and the abuse carried out against young women, young girls in USA gymnastics, and that was all done to win. So basically, people ultimately, like to Brizzy, her coach, people won't care what she's doing with her young athletes. If she screams at them, makes them fast, turns them into anorexics, doesn't make a difference, because she gets results, she wins, and that's a huge thing. So you're dead right, Isol. It's a perfect time to say they're all out to get us. Well, yeah, but you put yourself out there to be gotten. And unfortunately, this, if we believe this is only in Russia, that this only happens here, then we are seriously deranged. But it also has to start at home and clean up. So, Lisa, you're dead right.